Hello. Welcome to Triggered Care. I'm Alex. And I have been going through a mental break. If you hadn't been able to tell from how upset I've been in my videos. And I've been in a mental break for a while. And I think it's stigmatized a lot. Like, people assume that while you're going through a mental break, you have no access to logic, you have no control over your facilities, which is just false. I've just been hallucinating a lot, blocking out time, regaining the time, and then losing it again. And I've kind of been dissecting, like, what's stressing me out so much. And it's a chunk of it, a good chunk of it, is the social climate that's going on right now. And, mass shootings, police shootings, laws and policies that are being passed to make life considerably harder for trans people. And along with all the regular, normal things that I worry about, like the immigration centers and ICE and everything. Right? So, like, all of this is just building up on me and building up on me as a stress, as something that I worry about, something that I think about a lot. And it's seeped into my survival brain a bit, seeing so much violence going on, seeing the sorts of social discourse going on that's very akin to what I heard growing up, to what my family life was like. It was like what is going on right now. Same dynamics. There's the scapegoated populations and communities, along with the golden children, and I've been in the scapegoated position before. I grew up in a scapegoated position. Although now I am slightly less scapegoated in this new narcissistic social ecosystem that I find myself in. I'm still neurodivergent. I'm still queer. I'm still not the favorite. I'm not the golden child, but I do have considerably more privileges now than I did growing up. And I entered recovery nearly 10 years ago, and I discovered that what I grew up in was abnormal. Because I didn't know that. Nobody gave me a booklet of this is what normal is, this is what not normal is. So in my early 20s, I learned that I was traumatized and that my experiences were outside the norm in a bad way. And that I needed to really analyze my foundational beliefs and change the way that I see the world. And I always thought that I would match it up with my outside world, with my friends and connections that I made outside of my family. Because, the normal world should be considerably better than what I grew up in. Going through all of this as a trauma survivor, as somebody who is well versed in violence and manipulation and gaslighting and all of that, and watching it go down on a national scale is, first of all, very triggering. Extremely triggering. Very frustrating, because you put all this work into your personal life to get away from that toxicity, and then it just explodes. And it was always there in the normal world. That toxicity, that's not a new thing. That's not from Trump. It was a problem way before Trump. But he definitely put it, like, on the trending page where, like, all of a sudden everybody was looking into it. Everybody was engaging in that sort of dialogue that has just exploded into the most illogical arguments I've ever seen. from both sides, illogical arguments, but highly concentrated on the conservative side. But still, it's so frustrating, and it's so... I've seen how this works out, how this sorts of abuse and dialogue pans out. And the thing is, for a survivor coming out of a family like that, you just go no contact. That's a very common reaction to that, is like, oh, I just can't deal with this. I'm just not going to talk or engage. I'm going to take my space and heal. I'm going to figure out who I am as a person outside of this toxic family dynamic. There's no going no contact with the country that you live in. There's no like, oh, well, I'll just block their number. Because it's everywhere. And it's extremely activating. And it's really frustrating that there doesn't seem to be an adult conversation going on. It seems like there's a lot of pettiness and righteousness, and I'm not claiming that I'm better than anybody else. I've been falling into the emotional outburst too, because I'm just so stressed out and I don't know what to do with it. I don't know where to put it. I have just been staying busy and working a lot and playing video games and just trying to turn my brain off every second that I can get. But then the social interactions that I am having, yes, a lot of them are great and connecting because I'm very blessed in my work. But also, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. And it's stressing everybody out. And we've been stressed out continuously for a long time. And I'm just exhausted. And I wish everybody would learn about abusive dynamics and tools and all of that just overnight. So then we could wake up in the morning and have an actual grown-up conversation of how to fix this. And you know, and I'm not the only one that feels this way at all. I'm not special. I'm not smarter than everybody else. There's plenty of people who also feel this way. I bet you the majority of people are really tired of the petty arguments and the overreactions and the victim blaming and the shootings and the death, and like plenty of people are tired of it and can see that we're being manipulated and that it's just so obvious what happened. And we're just quiet. We don't know how, because we usually go no contact. So instead, trying to logic through it when you know how strong that belief and the relationship between emotional outburst and projection. Now I'm just going to say words because my brain is getting overwhelmed. So yeah, I just wanted to like put it out there, the perspective of somebody who's already survived a lot of abuse, to be shoved into like a massive, horrible, tension-filled world and being like, you know what, I try to get away from it, but apparently I can't. Apparently I can't. So yeah, that's where I am mentally, is right about there. So I hope everybody else is doing better than this. If you're not, feel free to comment. Feel free to express yourself and ramble. I would love to read some other rambles, because rambling by myself, it's, it just doesn't feel good. So, hope y'all are having good ones.